Look at the UVTV, motherfucker. I'm gonna kick spiritual ass and do this for my people. On God. Nia nigga for feather me in. Today I'm gonna be talking about what does it mean to exist and be a part of existence, the origins of the first expansions. Now, based upon existence in itself, because you're in existence. So we're sentient right now. So uh we got born in existence and stuff like that, based upon awareness and comprehension and expanding and condensing into a mind. So expansion will be us expanding out of a mind and then condensing into a new one. And then our spirit is our space for the most part. Replace the word spirit with space. Space deals with the room, the parameter, the all possibility and stuff like that. God is just all possibilities, the overall possibility of something happening, and you have your individual possibility to make that happen. So the objective point of view, and then you have your own subjective point of view of what you're doing. So your soul, and then your soul is always going to be nourished by spiritual shit. So the space that you in, and then it's always going to try to fulfill itself, and it's going to turn into a shaping form because your spirit is no shaping form. That's why they be saying shit like, oh, it's something that's non-physical and it's immaterial and stuff like that. It's just the essence and substance of who you are based upon the essential characteristics of your, you know what I'm saying, like essence and substance and stuff like that, and the observation space, the creator space, the productivity space, the potentiality of you trying to will something in existence by turning it into a mentality, a thought, idea, feeling, emotion, and it's gonna end up condensing, manifesting, and materializing into the flesh and being grounded in reality in some way, shape, or form. You get what I'm saying? And then your first body is your mind, and then your second body is the physical. And I'm just gonna go into the whole process of existence in itself and what it means to be exist, what it means to be sentient, basically, like what it means to exist. And then based upon that, it make it so we see the origin starting point of how we even got here in the first place, based upon us expanding out of a mind and condense into a new one. Look at that as a container of the information that we already got, and then we trying to find new information based upon the left and right brain of what makes sense to us and our comprehension skills, which is why we have the conscious awareness that we have as humans and stuff like that, because we've been doing that for a long time in different shapes and forms and bodies and stuff like that, in different experiences. And based upon those different experiences and observations, it's going to add nourishment to our spirit, aka our soul, of the type of life span and attention span that we're trying to create for ourselves based upon what we attract to ourselves. So it's based upon a perception and then a reception, giving something out and then receiving something out of it. Masculine and feminine, idea and thought, which would be masculine, and then a feeling, emotion, which would be feminine. So it's externalizing and then internalizing to make it like mad simple. So we're gonna get into it. So now X, and then oh yeah, also on top of that, this kind of where like this whole Big Bang theory be coming from too, based upon existence overall. Where in totality, that's why when it comes to these scientists, when they make up these different methodologies and these different theoretical point of views, when they talk about oh the origin of the universe and stuff like that, even though the like any word kind of like referencing everything in totality, like the word universe, is not like something that's a noun, like a person, place, or thing that's acting on its own. It's a collective. It's, you know what I'm saying. It's like a characteristic. It's a collection of something that's describing what's going on in the world. Even the word world is describing what's going on in the world overall, but the world is relative. So we all collectively make the world what the world is based upon what we're paying attention to and what we objectively trying to create for ourselves subjectively, and then it makes the overall what's being created, but it's not like a thing that's going on its own, and then we try to figure out and make these different scientific methods and studies and observations of what already got created. No, we're just trying to make sense out of life just in general, but we pay attention to that. We make that what it is because we're sentient just in general. So we do that on a highest scale and a lowest scale. The highest scale will probably be like the atmosphere and the celestial bodies like the sun and the moon going through the different seasonal transitions and stuff like that, right? And then the lowest scale of that will probably be like a cell or something like that, or like if you want to make it something that's like in reality like a bug or something like that, or like an animal. I'm just saying based upon the comprehension of how far that attention span and that awareness actually goes. And then we, you know what I'm saying, we're the highest subconscious, consciously aware beings and stuff like that. But based upon us being these ancient beings, and we went through these different expansion and contractions and experiences and lifetimes and stuff like that and lifespans, so we can have more of a broader knowledge and wisdom and awareness and stuff like that. We've been doing it before animals started doing that, and we've been doing it before certain bugs and cells be doing that. And something that came before we do that, look at that as like the atmosphere and stuff like that, because that's something that's greater than the human mind, that's still a natural transition, that's still transforming, that still is, you know what I'm saying, going through its own process, and it's still in life and sentient, but it's something that we can't control, but it's broader than us, regardless of the fact of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be scientists out here who gonna be trying to control that shit all the way down to the stars and different satellites and stuff like that, or trying to control the sun pockets, aka the sun cycles and shit like that, or the moon cycles. But at the end of the day, they're gonna be those same sun and moon cycles in different geographical locations, and there's not no way you're gonna be able to control that shit and try to play God and all that type shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same way privy to how we used to be more barbaric and we used to be more uncivilized and cavemen and stuff like that. And then eventually throughout different civilizations and us expanding, contracting, getting better attention spans, and then certain humans coming back by different thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions of better ways of how to cultivate and go about life just in general. We got to where we are now based upon the external tools and technology that get made from life based upon us growing as humans and stuff like that, and having better behavior systems and better way how to carry out our mentality and not get stuck into a memory or a pocket of time of what worked and what didn't work, us going through the ups and downs of life and shit like that. So I'm gonna start it off with, okay, so what does it mean to exist and be a part of existence? Right now, X is in existence. So X just means something that happened previously. So it's something that's greater than you. It's something that happened before you. The same way how you look at X as something out, or you being free form. Not free form. Well, free form would be another way of how you could look at it. But anything dealing with the word X has something to do with something that's outside of something. So from it being outside of something, it's something that happened previously, kind of like the past. It's something that already happened and it's outside of what's going on currently in the present and stuff like that. So it expired, it exited, it, you already have some testimony of a example. It's something that already got expanded out of, it already happened. So you know what I'm saying, it's the same type of energy. So that's like Xing something out, or it being free from something, it being outside of something, expansion, example, exits and stuff like that. So from you exiting, you expanding, eventually you're gonna go back in something, in a womb. You know what I'm saying? In a womb, in a room, in a parameter, in a field. You know what I'm saying? In a in a magic square, in a box. You know what I'm saying? You trying to keep on your square and all that type shit. I'm just using a whole bunch of different examples to make it make sense for the most part. So like that X word, just in general, when it comes to existence, is something that came before you came and stuff like that. So it's like the epitome of believing in something that's greater than you for the most part. So when you actually try to look at it from a more overall in totality expensive point of view and stuff like that, you could look at that like what I was saying before, like the atmosphere. And you have to create your own world just in general, based upon your subjective point of view of the reality that you in, of how you view the world, and it's gonna help the objective point of view. Cause that's what mankind is here to do just in general. We're here to be one of a kind, and based upon our subjective one of a kind point of view of how we look at the world, based upon our comprehension, attention span, and our awareness and the experiences that we observe and what we went through and stuff like that, we can use that as a testimony to be walking examples of what we feel like our purpose and our passions and our motivations of what we want to cultivate and create for ourselves in this lifetime and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's something that we have to make. We have to make up our mind just in general. We have to make up that idea. We have to make up that thought. We have to make up that feeling. We have to make up that emotion. We have to make up that motivation. We have to make up that drive to make us want to wake up in the morning, to make it so, oh yeah, this is the reason why I'm alive and stuff like that. You had to do that to even be here in the first place and stuff like that. So that's why it's not no thing where it's kind of like, oh, your parents birthed you into existence and stuff like that, and then you didn't ask to be here because of this, that, and the third. Yeah, you did though. You did ask to be here because you was already on that trend line of reasoning and stuff like that. It's just you came back into this lifetime more frustrated based upon what you did in the previous lifetime, because you kept on latching on the things from your previous lifetime that you have to learn how to let go. So look at that as oh, breaking generational traumas or generational curses and stuff like that based upon your ancestors. So it's like we constantly bring ourselves back to bring back the essence of what we once was type shit. So the more we try to be degenerate or not be generative, living a generative virtue and principle and stuff like that, and trying to create and produce and cultivate something for ourselves, and we try to go against creation, we try to go against existence, we try to go against life and being sentient and stuff like that, all you're gonna do is make it more difficult. It's the epitome of you staying stuck and stagnant into one shape and form of how something look. So it's like getting lost into a pocket of time and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, it's like what I was just saying earlier. You're being degenerate. You trying to be dead. You know what I'm saying? You beating a dead horse. You're not learning how to detach from certain energies. You're not learning how to let something go. You're not willing to expand. You want to isolate yourself in a certain worldview instead of expanding the awareness and the comprehension in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like the world of like awareness and stuff like that. Like you're not trying to go outside your comfort zone to make it like mad simple. You're nurturing and staying put in a certain comfort zone, and you're never trying to go outside your comfort zone. So from you trying to resist against that, you're gonna stay, you know what I'm saying, like real like one track linear minded and stuff like that. You're never gonna have no type of versatility. You're never gonna have a lot of capabilities and stuff like that, a lot of talents, a lot of things based upon the spectrum of who you are, based upon your individuality and personality. Is going to be very limited. You're not trying to you're not trying to make something outside of that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You're not trying to be free flowing. You only in that one shape and form. You don't know how to be a dynamic type of person and stuff like that. So just in general, right? It starts with existence, and it's going to start with that X word. So based upon you Xing something out and you trying to be free for something outside of something. So look at that, like expansion eventually is going to turn to a certain action. So based upon your actions and you being proactive in something is going to create the opposite effect, because you always have a dichotomy. The same way how we have two eyes and stuff like that is always going to be like a yin and yang. It's always going to be like a polarity and stuff like that. It's always going to be a dichotomy. It's always going to be the opposite energy, and you're trying to balance between the left and right brain. You're always trying to balance between the duality of who you are based upon the different spectrums of yourself and stuff like that. And that thing can multiply like baby's kids. We don't die, we multiply like on God. Yeah, it's going to be that type of concept. So it's you being able to produce certain actions. So some creativity, some productivity, you cultivate it, and it's gonna show whatever talent and skill and gift based upon the organic and natural natures of who you are. So it's gonna show your character, essentially. It's gonna show your character in the type of behaviors of what you feel comfortable doing already. You know what I'm saying? Like what make you feel good? Oh, what makes you feel passionate? Oh, what make you do what you do in the first place? Oh, what's your characteristics and stuff like that? What's your behaviors at at the most purest level? You know what I'm saying? Before you put yourself into certain scenarios and stuff like that and going through certain experiences, like what's the thing that make you feel, you know what I'm saying? Like you being yourself, and you're not getting lost into something that's outside yourself. So you doing things from the inside out, not from the outside in. You're not internalizing what the external world is doing to you, and you're just reacting, responding to what's going on based upon you perceiving energies, and you going based upon the reception of what other people are doing towards you. You're gonna have some type of perception and perceive, and you know what I'm saying? You're gonna have a certain worldview. You're gonna have a certain outlook. You're gonna have a certain viewpoint. You can have a point of reference based upon your own mind of how you look at something. So your own essence and substance of your individuality and your one of a kind type of quality and character and behavior to add on to the overall thing that's going on at the moment and stuff like that. So at times it may make you stick out like a sore thumb, and motherfuckers gonna be thinking, oh, you trying to be all radical and all that, but it can just add to that dialogue of, oh yeah, I still have my own way of how to do this too. So let's add on to this so we can keep on adding on to this process so we can compare and contrast what is more productive of helping people on a broad scale, instead of being self-serving and it being something negative, and it's something that only serves a certain group of people but not everybody in so much shape or form. So you have to learn how to do that from the highest scale to the low scale and stuff like that. That's why I be saying I be doing things for God, all possibilities. You could be aristocrat, elite, nepotism, super rich millionaire, billionaire, and you can be a goddamn homeless motherfucker who a crackhead, and you still gonna know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm still gonna make that shit relative and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, it's gonna expand the qualities of what you already doing in existence to make you you in the first place, and you able to make it relatable and relative to the world that you in, and you also able to do it to sentient beings outside yourself too. So it's gonna make you just have a higher shape and form of an intelligence. It's gonna make you have a broader awareness and stuff like that. It's gonna make it so you can look at all the potentialities of something instead of being stuck in one pocket instead of being stuck in one pocket. So by the end of it, it's just going to show the results of the process of you expanding and contracting. So you can expand your spirit, aka your soul. You can expand your mentality and make it relative and relatable to everyone else's mentality, aka some type of thought, idea, feeling, emotion that everyone could resonate with. Keyword resonate. And you can also do that within the physical and stuff like that. You can expand the capabilities of the grounding energy of what you're able to materialize, so people can see you as a walking example of how to go about that based upon you doing that when it comes to yourself. So expansion, contraction. You can expand Aman. You can expand your spirit, and then you can condense your spirit into a shape and form, and then that shape and form turns into a certain thought, idea, feeling, emotion, so a mentality. So you can expand your mind and then condense into another mind, and it's going to make your organs and your blood flow and your adrenaline and, you know what I'm saying, your nervous system and stuff like that, your eyeballs and all that type shit, and the external tools of technology that get made from the fleshy fluids that you produce based upon your physical shape and form, aka the body. And then, you know what I'm saying, you can use things of the external world to help you utilize things as like a tool to help materialize things even better for the most part. So using different things like different tools of technology that get made from the external world, I mean, that we created in this world just in general, to help us create and produce and cultivate something even better than how it was previously. So just being in existence, just in general, that's something that's being birthed, is you germinated a seed. So you need to have something that's relative to you, your subjective point of view of what you want to offer to the world, and also have your own individual way of how you like to go about it. And when you start going against that, you basically going against having your own state of being. So what does it mean to be like you? So regardless of, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all know we all gonna die one day and stuff like that. So even though you're not in a physical shape and form no more, because we're constantly deteriorating and dying as we get older and stuff like that, all the way down to when we get super old and we start forgetting things and stuff like that. So your first body, which is your mind, is gonna be gone, and then your physical gonna be gone. But people are gonna remember the essence and the substance and the space that you was in, the spirit of who you was. And this is how we end up going through that cycle, and we bring ourselves back. So it's something in the spirit realm that you're doing in existence. You know what I'm saying? Like this is how you start attracting certain energies around you and stuff like that, based upon the type of space that you put in yourself in. So you're gonna be floating around in existence, and you're gonna be around certain ancestors or certain thoughts or certain ideas and certain feelings and stuff like that of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, of like whatever thing that you're paying attention to, and based upon what you're paying attention to is going to end up attracting to you. So it's like what I was saying earlier, the masculine and feminine. So externalizing, internalizing. You giving something out, and then you're going to receive something of what you're giving out. You're going to have perception and then a reception. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to see something a certain way, and then you're going to end up receiving things based upon of how you see something. So it's going to end up going in a direction, and it's going to end up redirecting. It's always going to be some type of form of a expansion, contraction type of energy for the most part. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be the walking example, and then people are going to see how they're going to receive. You know what I'm saying? People are going to end up receiving how you like to be the example of what something is. So you're trying to be outside of something, and then from you trying to be outside of something from your own subjective point of view, you're also going to be a part of something. You know what I'm saying? Wants and needs, but don't get too lost into the wants and needs, because you're only going to get what you deserve based upon you going through the process of life, going through the different ups and downs and transitions and different feelings and emotions that comes with whatever the fuck you paying attention to where you end up being who you want to be just in the first place, and you end up going into the natural organic state of being. If you keep that genuality though, you have to keep that authenticity. You can't let other things deter you from your original starting point of your first mind, your instincts, your first actions, your intuition. You know what I'm saying? It be telling you what you really would need to do, but then you try to overcomplicate it and stuff like that, or you end up diverting and you know what I'm saying, going against the original start point of the thing you really want to do, and you can be a fear of going through certain trials and errors and try to control the situation, all that type of shit. So just in general, right? This is, you know what I'm saying? This is really like being born, just in general. So this is what it means to exist and be a part of existence. Now, the solution to that, to figure out what you want to create and produce and cultivate for yourself and stuff like that, you need to be in that constant cycle. You have to go through that cycle. You have to go through this transformations and go through these different transitions and stuff like that, the same way as the seasons and stuff like that. So spring, summer, fall, and winter and stuff like that. And that's really a different video to actually sit there and break down like how to act out certain characteristics during certain times and stuff like that. And then it's gonna end up turning into astrology in the different phases, like, you know what I'm saying, like the moon, different phases, like the moon in the moon phases and stuff like that, of the different emotions and feelings of how you trying to react and respond of what's going on in the world, in the collective light, information and feelings and emotions that you get from that. But just in general, to make it like mad simple, right? So springtime just represents when the plants start to bloom and stuff like that. So that's like you germinating a seed. And then summertime is when all life, all, you know what I'm saying, everyone outside and stuff like that, it's summertime and things of that nature. And that's when everyone start acting more lively and start going on vacation, start going outside and start actually acting on things and stuff like that, and bringing more sentient, fruitful energies to things and stuff like that, because things already started germinating the seeds, aka everything's pollinated, everything's being bloomed the same way how bees is pollinated all the plants and stuff like that and give them life back into things. And then fall time is when these things start to go into a death and start to deteriorate and start to decay and stuff like that, and the leaves start falling and they start changing colors and stuff like that. So the same way how you have different characteristics and behaviors and color spectrums and stuff like that, they start to deteriorate and decay and fall. And that's why autumn is called the fall, just in general. And then it's going to turn to wintertime where everything is completely dead, and you're going to start recuperating that energy of how you're going to be able to do that again when it becomes springtime, because everything is snowed in, everything is dead, everything is cold, it's frozen, it's stuck, it's stagnant into that one type of, you know what I'm saying, that temperament, that temperature is real cold, is real icy, is real freezing and stuff like that. So what this cold and freezing make you do? It makes you shiver, it makes you stand still and stuff like that. It makes you, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then too much of that start to hurt after a while, because you ain't gonna be able to have that movement. So you always need to be able to go through the different cycles and transitions. I'm just using like the seasons as like an allegory of how you can look at life just in general, so you can start doing that during those type of times, and how you're supposed to look at everything. So it's always having some type of dynamic spiritually first, based upon different mentalities that you try to make for yourself. So you always trying to make some new fruit, and you know when to let certain things go and go through different transitions. So that's what a lot of people be calling, oh yeah, I'm moving forward in life, or I'm trying to move up in life, and things of that nature. So it's not to say you going against, you know what I'm saying, like being regressive or moving backwards, or feeling like you forgot something, so you looking back into the past, or resonate with some type of emotion and feeling because you hurt at the moment, because you probably went through something. But it always going to turn into a dynamic type thing, and learning how to move. So based upon you learning how to move during those different transitions that be going on in your life, and the ups and downs with life, yeah, it's a up and a down. You can't just stay on a high, and you can't just stay too low and a low, because you're going to end up using it during situations where, oh, you needed to be high, but you depressed right now, you on a low. And then when you be too high, nigga, you too goddamn high, and you are all up in the clouds, you look like you out of your goddamn mind and outer space and stuff like that. You need to be grounded and be brought back down to earth. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you too much on a high, nigga. You too much in the exalted ego type shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's basically like those type of qualities. So you have to put yourself, when it comes to existence and how to maintain existence, is by maintaining the continuation of something. So the different like transmuting energy just in general, and going through the different transitions and transformations. So maintaining the additions you're adding to your existence overall without stopping, and you have to learn how to let certain things go. So look at that as the art of deduction, or deducing something. So you're trying to deify something. So you're trying to turn that into a deity. You're turning that into a certain shape or form, but it's starting to decay. It's starting to deteriorate. It's starting to fall apart. The same way how what happens during the fall. It's going through a death. So you need to learn how to put things through a death, but thought wise though, like mentality wise, like metaphysical wise and stuff like that. You need to learn how to let that thing pass. You already experienced that. You already observed that. Now make new experience. Now make new types of ways of how to live in existence. Make new type of sentience. Make new lifestyles and stuff like that. Make new experiences. Make new things you can expand out of that you never experienced before, and get outside your comfort zone because you already comfortable of what you already done did. For the most part, you already did it already. Okay, now make something else. And you have to learn how to build yourself up and not go to based upon the external world and whatever bribery or whatever money or whatever monetary gain, someone trying to convince you to be a part of their corporation when you could be trying to create and cultivate your own thing. And unless it has something to do with your immediate family, based upon some type of nepotism or, you know what I'm saying, like friend of a friend type shit, like you shouldn't be too into that shit, because it's at the end of the day you're gonna get the short end of the stick because you wasn't a part of the people who helped create that culture and make that thing in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then on top of that, you have to understand your essence. Your essence is just your substance, which is just your awareness, your true state of being, and you being essential to something. So it's like a scent in the spiritual realm and stuff like that. So an essence is a type of scent. So your particular fragrance, your particular dance, your particular way of your individuality and stuff like that. So what makes sense to you? So like when motherfuckers be saying, oh yeah, it's just common sense because this, that, and the third. You have to make things relative. So what's the common sense of this scenario? So what's relative and relatable to the overall way of how everybody look at something? But then how does that relate to you though? You know what I'm saying? Like what makes sense to you though? So even if you in a scenario where people trying to sit there and be like, oh yeah, it makes sense to do this because, oh, you're going to get a lot of money and this is a job and you're going to get, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be able to live a comfortable lifestyle and you're going to get this degree because of this, that, and the third, but make that relative to you though. Like, yeah, that's cool. That's a thing in the world, but what does that have to do with what I'm trying to create for myself though? Because I could be on a path that has nothing to do with that. So yeah, I could live comfortable, but you're going to be living your life in regret later down the line and you kind of wasted your time putting all that investment into someone else's university, someone else's universe, someone else's education, someone else's institution by you getting indoctrinated in their books, in their mentality, aka what they're writing down based upon their authorship. You never was the author of your story. You never created something for your own volition. You never created something out your own volition. You never produced or cultivated something that was a part of your culture. You didn't actually utilize your talents and skills and gifts for a certain character or a spectrum of your personality of what you wanted to do on a higher percentage scale. So you always have to learn how to detach from certain things, because that's another way how to expand. You have to learn how to detach and look at it from an overall point of view. So even if it's a fucking thought, even if it's a idea, even if it's a certain feeling and emotion of someone trying to put you in a mind frame of a certain expectation of what they feel like you should be doing. No, you need to pay attention and be wary of your intuition, because your intuition be saying that, your instincts, like, you know what you really supposed to be doing. And like, and niggas be knowing, bro, like niggas be knowing, but they get lost into the leadership of life, of the external world and the examples in Lionsgate and Walt Disney of what they show you of how you should be expanding, contracting, and how you should be living your existence and be a part of existence and stuff like that, when it's completely going against your spirit though, aka your individual space, aka your soul. Your individual space is just your soul. Your individual spirit is just your soul. So what nourishes your soul, not what the world wants you to do. You know what I'm saying? You trying to make your own atmosphere, your own world, your own viewpoint of how you look at something in the type of life you want to create for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to make it. Like, no one else can do that. You have to make a decision. You have to make that shit. It's only you, bro. Like that's why you have your own mind. And there's no such thing as some MK Ultra motherfuckers trying to manipulate and try to control your mind because of this, that, and the third. They could bribe you. They could try to do it by force type shit. But at the end of the day, a motherfucker has to be solicited and allow that to happen. So death before dishonor type of concept and stuff like that. Nigga, you need to be willing to just die instead of going to some shit you really don't want to end up doing type shit, because you know it's not nourishing your spirit and it's not based upon some type of monetary gain or some hedonistic pleasure all the time. It's something that's everlasting, that's long lasting, and that's how that's those are basically like the keys of living forever for living forever type shit. Like you want people to remember the essence and substance of your creative ability. You know what I'm saying? Your productivity and what you cultivated for yourself based upon your character and your behavior, and then it starts to turn into a mentality and stuff like that. So it's just like yeah, bro. Like you have to look at it like in that sense. So like the idea of who you was, that's the thing that's gonna be way more important. And then you start understanding the essential things you need for your essence and your substance based upon what you was aware about. So it's gonna be going based upon the what and the how. Now we're all doing the what. We all doing the what. But it's how you do it though. That's what makes you an individual. That's what makes you genuine. That's what makes you authentic. It's how you doing it. So you can either do it in a degenerate type way, aka you can get lost into a monetary gain, you can get lost into the flesh, you can get lost into the external tools of technology that get made from the flesh and stuff like that, or you can go based upon what you actually want to do for real. So the what, oh, we all trying to be part of existence and stuff like that. We all trying to live our life and have our own lifestyle and shit like that. So it's how you're doing it, how you're trying to live in existence, how you're trying to live life. And are you a part of life type shit, or you just trying to go with the program of what life is doing to your ass? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you actually have power control over your life, and are you actually happy? Are you actually doing the shit you actually want to do? Or you're just going based upon the example of what got recommended for you to do? You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand what is your natural and organic natures. So you need to understand the essence of you being an entity, and then from you being an entity, a thing in existence that live on its own volition, right? Because we all have our own mind, right? So you live in, so you're a thing in existence. You just got materialized in the flesh. Stop getting lost into the physical reality, how to look at shit. You're a walking emanation of what that is, just in general, from you having your own mind. And then you have your own mind, it means you have your own spirit. You have your own space. You know what you want in and out your space, if I want to make that make sense. And we have space between each other, right? I don't got your fucking brain. I got my own goddamn brain. I got my own mind, to make that like mad simple so it don't sound pseudo to motherfuckers, because I keep on bringing up spiritual shit, right? So it's the essence of you as an entity and its essential features and quality. So what's the quality behind the intentions and the passion and the motivations of the system and programming and disciplines of what makes you as a person, your behavior, your character? And is it something that you react and respond to of what the world is doing to you? Or is it something based upon of how you actually feel about yourself inside? And do you actually have power control over that? And are you validated of you building yourself up? Or you're trying to let the world build up your qualities and try to tell you how you want to live your life? You know what I'm saying? Like you let in some type of validation, aka the like button, or social media, or what Walt Disney taught you, or Lionsgate, or 20th Century Studios and all that type shit, like TV shows and movies and different programs. Are you trying to program yourself and gain some type of discipline of what you want to be as a god or goddess, or a man and woman and stuff like that, and build yourself up? Or you letting the world create what make it look relatable or cool based upon the external reference point and representation, based upon whatever fucking celebrity guy out here and stuff like that, to be some type of puppet so you can be the slave puppeteer of some shit they already done did. So you trying to be iconic and stuff like that, but man, they making up all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like shit, they're making up all that shit. But so all of this can be understood even if one does not know whether that entity exists. So regardless of people paying attention to you or not, right? Regardless of motherfuckers giving you validation or not, you are a walking emanation of who you is based upon your essence and your substance of how you build yourself up and what you're trying to create for yourself as you as an individual and stuff like that. So regardless of who's watching, you don't give a fuck who watching, you're going to keep on continuing to add on to your existence of what you want to gain awareness about, gain some new type of skill, some new type of talent, some new type of gifts, some new type of potential, some new type of fruit, some new type of creativity, productivity, culture, whatever. Like regardless if you getting that validation or not, you're going to keep on adding on to build yourself up. So it's going to build up your spirit, which is going to build up to make it so you have a stronger mentality, so you can have some type of mental resilience. So even if the external world trying to block you from that it ain't gonna stop your motion. It ain't gonna stop shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna stop your creativity, your productivity. It ain't gonna stop nothing. You gonna keep going with, man, you gonna see right through that shit. You gonna break through that potentiality, that boundary, restriction, and limit. So it's never gonna turn into a thing to where it's gonna even frustrate you. I can't even talk. To make it so it even frustrates you. You're able to take it way more lightly than somebody else. Somebody else went through that experience and stuff like that. They end up folding. They end up getting crushed and stuff like that. They end up getting all depressed and sad and all that type shit for too long, based upon whatever idol worship or external point of reference of whatever someone trying to put some type of boundary restriction or limit on their spirit, on their space, on their creativity, on their productivity and stuff like that. When you supposed to make it up in the first place, and you shouldn't be letting nobody like see like God, all possibilities like to see that. Like, oh, you trying to make that shit possible, regardless of what narrative, what agenda, what propaganda, what observable event, what you know what I'm saying, whatever shit they try to put out here and stuff like that of another sentient being trying to block you from you being yourself. You ain't letting that self-projection type of energy stop you from having some type of way based upon you know what I'm saying? Like you gonna be able to stay on your path, stay on that line of reasoning, stay on that frequency, and be frequent with that way of cultivating for yourself. And you're able to always make a new pocket, a new emotion, a new vibe. You know what I'm saying? So even if a motherfucker trying to chastise you of some previous idea that you had that didn't work out, or thought or feeling or emotion, you ain't gonna get bogged down by that shit. You ain't gonna try to carry the weight of the world of what the world expect you to do. You already have your own standard, your own expectation, and you just want to have the ability to keep getting better at that ability to be yourself. So keep on working on that ability to have some type of talent, skill, gift, and try to create more and add more esoteric currently be esoteric currency to be rich in spirit. And even if you don't got $1 million in the flesh or in the material physical world and stuff like that, you don't act like it though. You know what I'm saying? You always gonna have that lively type of energy. You ain't gonna stop that shit. So the essence of an entity is the awareness of an individual space/spirit to be a creator and an observer instead of being somebody else's creation and their observation. So it's like the shit I just said for the most part. So it's like you're not getting lost into someone else's creations and what they're trying to create for you, right? Or getting lost into the observations or the critiques or you know what I'm saying? Like them trying to pick apart some shit you trying to make and stuff like that. You always gonna be in the essence of your entity and stuff like that, aka the space that you're in, and then trying to make it relative to the world in some way. So to other existences, other states of beings, other rooms, other cultures, to make it like simple. You know what I'm saying? Like you always gonna add on to your character so you can act out that character in a better template and keep on being progressive instead of being regressive. Because you always gonna be in the creator space, not trying to be a creation of what someone else did. You know what I'm saying? That's like the music industry and stuff like that. But you don't own the music industry. You don't own a big ass label and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like so they try to have creative control and they gonna be your masters and you gonna be the slave and you have to win back your masters. But it's like instead of you being a master of your craft and you signing a contract for those $1 million, instead of trying to build yourself up to where you have your own label, your own corporation, your own industry, your own business model. You know what I'm saying? Your own creativity, your own system outside of their system from you being an individual and you trying to personalize it and then people can be a part of your system and your shit probably going to make it so they have way more creative control, way more things they able to make for themselves, and you can really give them some real game, and then they trying to give them the runaround. They just trying to swindle them. They just doing it for the sake of business. They just doing it to try to, you know what I'm saying, utilize and take all their life force and stuff like that because they lack all that life force when it comes to their creative abilities and their talents and stuff like that. They just go with the monetary gain. They just good at capitalism. You know what I'm saying? They just go with the business and stuff like that, but they can't find something inside themselves based upon their individuality and their personality and their authenticity to where they can do that for themselves, so they don't always need other artists from all these different areas and give them a funding system of $1 million, so they always have to utilize them. They always have to realize, you know what I'm saying, they end up putting themselves where they end up being like bitch ass humans, bro. Like You just a synthetic person. Like, you're not real. You're not speaking to the people like that based upon you doing real things in real life and you making it relatable of, you know what I'm saying, making it relative and relatable to the people of the sentiment of the people type shit. You're trying to self-serve. You're trying to be in an ego and you want people to come to you as a source so they could idol worship you type shit instead of like you always trying to do something that's relative to everybody. Like I was saying earlier with the, oh, you could be high class, middle class, low class. I'm doing shit for God. I'm doing shit for God. So it don't matter what level of life they at, they still can get some game, knowledge, and wisdom, and have some better expansion and contraction and comprehension of how to go about themselves and shit.